Hey there guys, welcome back to another awesome video, and today's video is going to be different. And so to kick off October 1st and to kick off my third annual Halloween month, horror month, whatever you want to call it, where we're basically the entire month of October, we'll be just talking about all things Halloween related, Halloween movies, horror related, horror movies, whatever stuff for the majority of October. And to kick this off with October 1st, I have a story to tell you guys. And it's basically my first ever experience at Halloween Horror Nights. And so I was able to have done this 3 years ago. This was back in 2018. And so to give you guys a bit of just a little like context of how this all came together. So for years and years and years, whether it was when I used to live in Pennsylvania or whether it was I lived in South Florida or when I lived in here, Newport Richie, wherever it was, there was always around the month of October, there was an idea for my dad and I, or just the three of us, to go to Universal and maybe do something like Halloween Horror Nights. Because we've done the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, and that is its own thing. And I enjoy that on its own level that it is. And Universal's Halloween Horror Nights is just 10 times different in comparison to what Disney does for Halloween. It was something interesting, it's something different, it's something I've never done before, these Halloween Horror Nights or these haunted houses, scare zones, all that crazy stuff. So there was times during each year before 2018 that we thought about maybe getting tickets or somehow going to Universal or somehow coming down to Florida or being in Orlando for a few days or for a day and doing the Universal or doing something with Halloween. And for example, there was one year they did an Alien vs. Predator haunted house, and I was curious to see how that would have turned out, but we just never got the chance to do so. So we flash forward to 2018, and it was like, I want to say at least a month or maybe a few weeks before October. And so my dad, before this, he's on the radio, he's listening to a radio station, and they're giving away tickets for Halloween Horror Nights. They're giving away that year's Halloween Horror Nights tickets, and he got lucky that we got 2 tickets for Halloween Horror Nights for myself and him. My mom's not one to really do horror-related things or anything scary, so it was just my dad and I. So we wound up doing that, and we got lucky, and I was just so excited to do this. This was the first time I've ever done something like this before. I never done a haunted house type of scenario. I might have done one like that I might have done something years ago, but it was like a house I probably went to when I years ago would go trick-or-treating, and it was nothing like it, like nothing like this, definitely not. So this was an experience for me. I was really excited, and just not only doing this for the first time, but the fact that like the houses they had and the scare zones they had a Child's Play scare zone, and I will give you guys this in advance for a viewer discretion advised real quick, because I will show probably images or whether it's images or footage of the Halloween Horror Nights that happened in 2018, whether it's the scare zone or even the images or whatever it is, the haunted houses. If you are if you get easily scared or you have epilepsy or whatever that is, just viewer discretion advised. Just make sure to like either stop and skip this one part right here, or I'll let you guys know in advance when that happens, or just make sure to, like, I'm just giving you guys that in advance in case, even just by an image or whatever the case is. And bear in mind, I don't have any actual footage of when I recorded this, because at the time I did not have a great quality video, and I had another reason why I didn't want to vlog or really record. Well, for example, one was I actually didn't start my YouTube channel until a couple months later, which was in 2019. But number one, and number two, even if I wanted to record it, there is a whole story that I just couldn't do it, not only because of the crappy phone I had, but also just another reason I just couldn't do it. But anyways, I'll get to that in a moment. But anyways, viewer discretion advised. I will probably throw up pictures or images when I do talk about certain haunted houses, or I'll show like footage or GIFs of said house or said zone. And if you scare easy, like I said, just bear in mind what you're about to watch or anything like that of epilepsy, because there are moments in these haunted houses that they will like flicker lights and all these other things. So that might trigger things. So just bear in mind that. So I just want to at least point that out. So that way I'm not getting any problems. But anyways, so the houses I was just so excited for. And not only, like I said, that scare zone, the Child's Play scare zone looked really cool. They had a Killer Clowns from Outer Space scare zone, which sounded awesome. And it looked pretty cool too when I saw it. But the haunted houses was where it was at, with Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, Stranger Things, Poltergeist, and probably my favorite Halloween, if not my favorite horror movie, Trick or Treat. And I'll leave a link in the description for my review of Trick or Treat I did 2 years ago. And I really still think that that movie deserves a lot of recognition, because there's still some people that don't know what Trick or Treat is, and I really want it to get a lot of recognition because it deserves a ton and a shit ton of recognition. So we won the tickets. I was getting excited. It was the day of that weekend we were going there. We luckily were in the weekend. We stayed in Orlando for the weekend, and we went to Universal. It was, obviously we did it at night, because usually it's better to do this at night. And I mean, you could do it during the daytime, but it's just so much better to done in the dark. So I will give you guys my honest overall experience, and you know what? I'm not ashamed of it, because it's something I look back on and I just kind of laugh and I enjoy the fact that I got to do this and I had tons of fun doing it. So we get there. I'm excited. We get the tickets. We get whatever we need. I'm like really like stoked. I'm like really getting curious. And the moment I'm walking in, I'm like, okay, it looks so awesome, just walking through that Child's Play scare zone. And then the next moment, obviously you're gonna get scared. It's a scare zone. You're gonna have people coming after you. They're not gonna touch you, but they will come near your face a little bit. They might get up in your face, but they're not allowed to touch you. None of these actors at Universal are allowed to come like right up in your face, like here, or touch you, because then that just creates a whole different thing, whether it's uncomfortability, it's personal space, or if you have seizures from it. If you're someone that has seizures and you wind up getting in contact with someone, you could obviously trigger that. So no touching and no like real up and close, like right here, like where my hand is. Nothing here. You can maybe like a foot away or maybe a few inches away, but that's it. So you can't do anything further than that. So people came after me left and right, came around me a little bit, came near my back, and I got jumped a little bit. I got scared because I've never done this before. So I will say I got scared a little easily. And like I said, I have no shame in this, because I look back at this and I just look how much fun I had. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, I got scared out of my life and it petrified me and scarred me. No, it was just a good time. Honestly, I scared easily, and it was just so, it's fun, honestly. Like in that moment was scared to my mind, and it is kind of funny whenever I tell people this story, especially when we get to the haunted house. We didn't get to do a lot of the haunted houses because the Halloween 4 haunted house was packed, and Stranger Things was packed, and Poltergeist was packed, and all the other ones were either packed and long lines or just kind of really shitty. Like there was one that was like a swamp, and I guess like a swamp looking like infested type of theme, and it just really wasn't the best. So I was like, I skipped it. And especially since I saw some of this stuff in advance, I saw a little bit of clips, a little bit of footage of how the zones looked and how everything looked, so I can at least kind of like prepare myself. But even after that preparation meant jack shit, because I still got just jumped, scared, and got scared the hell out of things, because it's a different experience. It's different when you watch a movie, and bear in mind, if you do something like this, if you actually wind up doing a Halloween Horror Nights, or you do a scare zone, or you do a haunted house type thing, like Hollow Screams, or whatever is at Busch Gardens, bear in mind, if you scare easily, it's a different experience when you're watching a movie. But when you actually feel like you're actually up and close with these people, it's a different ball game, because in a movie you could be like, yeah, that's not real. And you can do the same thing here, where it's like, yeah, this stuff's fake, but it's hard to do that when these people are dressed up the way they dress up, and you can get easily terrified, basically. And that's their job. And it's not they're trying to be mean or anything, these actors that are doing it. They're just doing this for fun. This is their job. This is what they're supposed to do. So they get enjoyment out of it, and they get a kick out of scaring people. I mean, if I bet any one of you that's watching right now, you say, like, including myself, you say that you get scared easily, and you kind of like, let's say you say it's not unfair. If you were in that position, you'd probably have some enjoyment, probably scaring people a little bit and just having fun with it. So it's like being in character. It's no different when you go out and go cosplaying or basically pretend to be in character or role play. So it really fits under that belt. But anyways, so when we get to the haunted house, the only haunted house we got lucky to do was the trick-or-treat one. And by that point, I was just shaking and like just looking around left and right, paranoid to my mind, because I just, whether it's because of I've never experienced this before or just due to like personal things, like maybe for example someone in my family is scared easily, so I get that maybe from a certain family member, that I get scared easily and I get paranoid by this stuff. But whether the case may be, I was just up into my I was up to my neck here, just so worried on my mind, like looking around for something to happen. So we get into trick or treat, and from the get go, all of a sudden, the moment the scares and the jump scares and every inch happens, I just kept jumping out of like nowhere, just literally jumping off the floor, and I even to the point where I was just swearing. Like I jumped, I was like, fuck, and I was like, shit, and I just couldn't handle it. And like, I kept going. I didn't leave the house. I kept going. I stayed brave, and I stood there as a trooper and kept going on. I didn't say, hey, let's turn back, let's keep going forward. So I kept going throughout that house, and just my heart was racing, and my blood was boiling, or whatever was happening to my body. And it was just all sorts of crazy, intense moments that you just feel in that moment, that you just get scared, and that whatever feeling. So whatever it is in your body or in your brain or in your mind, just having you have that reflex. So we finally, once we leave the haunted house, I was just so upset because I got so scared. But then I was like, I sat there and I said, I was so scared of that house, and I got scared so many times, but it was such a good house. Like the house that they did for Trick or Treat, well crafted, so much detail, and how well they incorporated each story from that movie was phenomenal. I just love what they did with that house. It was so good. So awesome. So I felt so bad that I got so scared and terrified by this. And it's not like I'm haunted by it happen. It's just in that moment, it's just something that happened. And like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating myself and say, in the end, I had a great ass time. I really did. Like it got me several times, but I enjoyed it. And looking back on it, it's just a fun story I like telling. And I figured it's a fun story I'd like to tell you guys. So even whether you guys, viewers out there that are old or new, you're able to hear this story too. And if you're old viewers of mine, I might have told you this before, but you'll at least have it here too. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is how we're gonna kick off the month of October. But anyways, so I came out there and I was like probably pale as a ghost, and it's just like, I couldn't believe how awesome it was. And I just got jumped so many times. It was just so good. I just couldn't believe it. And there was even one guy that almost came close to me. I actually literally jumped off the ground and away from him. It was that crazy. I loved it so much. But then what was great and what was even funny, not necessarily to me, but to my dad, was every time I got jumped or I just kept going, fuck, or shit, and it just kept jolting out of nowhere, losing it, he lost his mind laughing his ass, because he likes this feeling. He likes the sort of getting jump scared and getting these sort of like moments, and he's done some of these things, like not a lot, but he's done like one or two things like this and similar to it. So it makes sense that he just loves doing this stuff, and he loves Halloween, and I love Halloween too. It's just doing something like this was just very different and really just got my heart racing for several things. So luckily we were able to take a break here and there. We got ourselves on a few rides. Unfortunately, we couldn't do Harry Potter because we went to Harry Potter and I think the ride was closed and the train was closed. But I either couldn't find the ride and the train was closed due to whatever reasons. So we did that, but instead we wound up going to different rides. So we did Spider-Man, I think. We did the Transformers ride. We did Men in Black, Alien Attack, which all that was fun. All that was great. We did Fast and Furious. That was the one we did. We either did Spider-Man or Fast and Furious, or we did both. I don't remember, but I know we did Fast and Furious. We might have did Spider-Man, but I know we did Transformers. Either way, we did rides, we did stuff like that, and then at one point, we're coming near Springfield. We're coming near the area with the Simpsons. And out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I hear chainsaws. And obviously, they're fake chainsaws. So obviously, disclaimer again. But they were fake chainsaws, and I was like, oh no. I knew something was going to happen. I was just getting myself, like, I was trying to prepare myself, but I didn't expect what happened. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but I just thought it was funny that all of a sudden, so I see my left, the corner of my left eye, I noticed a dude, like, next to me a little bit, not near me right away, but right next to me a little bit, was a guy with a chainsaw pulling out, and I'm like, okay, I see you, I'm watching you a little bit, so I walked a little further away, and then all of a sudden there was another dude. Because I was so distracted on the one guy to my left, I didn't see the other guy to my right. All of a sudden, like, it was either a guy or a woman, all of a sudden I saw just pull out a chainsaw, and I jumped startled, ran one direction, ran the next direction, heading for a gift shop. My dad's losing it because of how the fact that it's just funny as hell seeing me how I react. So just seeing that just really it was fantastic. So I just ran for a gift shop just to try and at least avoid that, because I almost got two-timed in that second. So I was like, okay, I need to like take a second to breathe. So I was fine. It wasn't like I was gonna have a heart attack or I wasn't gonna die or anything. It was just, your heart just is racing a lot. And I will say these a lot, and I will repeat myself, because it is that your heart is just going at such a fast rate, you can't help it, and you're not like gonna like have a seizure or have a heart attack. It's just, if you don't have those conditions and you do get scared easily, and it's not like I get scared easily from horror movies. I mean, I'm fine with horror movies, but it's just something like this is a whole different ballgame. Like I said, it's a whole different left field for me. So I had to take a moment just to breathe. And so I went to a gift shop, because they're not allowed to basically go after you into stores, because that's kind of like, that's not really a part of the scare zone. It's got to be amongst the streets and amongst the sidewalks and amongst the pavement of where you're walking to your next destination. So each zone has to do that sort of thing. And there was all sorts of creatures, and I do like how creative the things were. Like, I loved that there was the child, like I said, I want to point out another thing about the Child's Play scare zone was that there's a little section area where you saw Chucky. Like, someone was like puppeting a Chucky doll with a stage and everything, and kind of doing like commentary almost a little bit. It was funny. And I don't know how the hell they would have done that, because you have to stop there and like talk to Chucky while people are trying to scare the shit out of you. So I don't know if people just avoided that area, and if you could have maybe just stopped and maybe stood there and not get scared. I don't know how the logistics work. But anyways, so it was just such a grand slam spanking time. And like I said, I sound like I was a wimp, but honestly, I wasn't a wimp. It was just my first time doing this, and like, it will probably happen to me again if I ever do this again. But I enjoyed this, and it was fun. And as much as I got scared to death, like, not literally, as much as I got scared to death, I had a grand time. It was fun. And like I said, looking back on it years and years and years, I love just telling about the story, even if it means that, hey, I got scared, so what? I'm not ashamed to say it. It happens to the best of us. And I guarantee you, people that are watching this now, you probably got scared too. So no shame in that. I'm just stating the facts. So if I got scared, you probably got scared too. So yeah. So I love that I did that at least. It was definitely an experience. Would I do it again? I don't know. There was times I was debating about it. Like this year, I was debating about it because this year had Beetlejuice, and I'm a huge fan of Beetlejuice. It's one of my favorite Burton movies. It's just, Beetlejuice is awesome. I've talked about it before. I'll leave that review and link in the description too. So I'll have those two reviews there. But I was debating about it because Beetlejuice is Beetlejuice. It's awesome. And the reason why I didn't do it this year was because, well, first my dad was gonna get tickets. He was gonna listen to that radio station again and try and like win tickets. And I told him no, because I really didn't like the policy that you have to do at Universal with these scare zones. And I get it, it's a part of the whole CDC mandating thing and all, whatever, like you have to wear a mask inside, you can take it off outside, but I just didn't like the fact that if you're gonna go into a haunted house and you're gonna have this mask on your face, like give me a second here. You have to wear this inside for like sure, it's only a couple minutes. It's only like, say, 5 to 10 minutes, maybe less than that. But you have to wear this whole thing for the entire time, getting scared to death. and having to breathe through this. And I get it, some people probably are very comfortable with doing this, but to do this inside, like if you wear a mask throughout a haunted house, like it's one thing going to Disney, wearing this mask and going on a ride, but it's another thing when I know the bat's upside down, I don't care, but it's another thing when you're going into this haunted house and you're gonna get scared and you're gonna get jumped and you're gonna get frightened, you're gonna get startled, whatever the case is, and the fact that you're gonna like breathe so much and you have to breathe more because you're wearing this here. So this is just not gonna help, for me at least. That's my opinion. I don't want to get too much into the whole masks and the pandemic and everything else, but the point I'm making is you wearing, in my opinion, you wearing this, the majority of wearing it in the house, the haunted house you go into, and doing that, let's say if you were hyperventilate or something like that, is not good. So I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I know it's a long-winded way of saying I was uncomfortable with the idea. So unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to done Beetlejuice, and I saw Beetlejuice, it looked fantastic, and I guess it was very safe how they did it, but still, I wouldn't have not felt comfortable. So that's just my opinion, although I have to do it at Disney, but I have my ways of, and like reasons that I'm okay with having the mask on or off during the ride. But if you're fine with that idea, go on ahead, go and check it out. I'm not trying to debunk and discourage anyone from going there. I'm just giving you guys the facts and just telling you. And I know this is probably a long ass winded video, but I do apologize for that. But that's just my opinion. I at least got to do one that wasn't during the pandemic, and also what I got out of it was not only memories, but I got this bomb ass shirt. It's a bomb ass shirt right here. So I should have wore it for the video, but it's kind of getting small, unfortunately. So yeah, it sucks a little bit, but it's still a great shirt. Like, look at this. Like, I love how this looks. It was either gonna be the shirt or the hoodie I was gonna get. And the hoodie looked so awesome. I should have got both, but it was either this or the shirt. And I was like, all right, let me get the shirt. But so we know what scares you. So I love how the shirt turned out, and like I said, I apologize, it was a long-ass video, but it's just this was a big story time for you guys to listen to, and hopefully you guys didn't tune out and kind of get bored by it, because I really want to just take this time and say, hey, look, like, this was just an experience, and this is story time right here, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comment section if you've ever done any, like, Halloween Horror Nights, whether it was last year, this year, 2018, whenever you did a Halloween Horror Nights thing at Universal, whether it was in Orlando or in California, let me know what your experience was like. Let me know what you think, and how was it for you, and how are you in those environments, and how are you in those sorts of scenarios. Let me know in the comment section. Let's have a whole kind of like discussion, just chat amongst the whole idea. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash that button. If you're new on the channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, every week. Make sure you ring that bell. I do new videos every day, every week. Share the video with your family, friends, all the good stuff and more. Also, leave some suggestions in the comment section. Any requests, I'll look into them. And also leave any questions too, because I'd like to start a Q&A after the month of October, because anything in the month of October is going to be either Halloween related or horror movie related, or anything of the subject matter of Halloween, October, or horror. So leave any suggestions like that, and if you have any regular requested ideas, I will save those for November, so next month when we do get back to our regular scheduled programming. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.